Well, good Saturday morning, everybody. I hope y'all are having a great day. Always excited to see everybody up and out here on Saturday mornings. I would say you're committed if you'll get up on Saturday morning. Some of these folks getting in on the West Coast are getting up pretty early. Those folks on the East Coast and those up in Newfoundland a little bit later in the morning it is for us. So, guys, we're really excited about Saturday morning. I want to make an announcement before I get started with Jonathan and Luke. This coming Saturday, 1 week from today, we have John Wadsworth as our guest. So one of the company owners and partners will be our guest next Saturday. So I would suggest you get on as early as possible because we know we're going to have a real packed house next Saturday morning. So you mark your calendar for that. But I'm going ahead and making that announcement right now. But guys, as we get started here, we've noticed that, at least for me, I think most everybody realizes that our industry is really dominated by women. I mean, I'm not trying to be one side or the other here, but let's just face facts. The truth of the matter is that women dominate our industry. And last several weeks in a row, I've had nothing but ladies as guests. And so this morning, I decided we need to get some guys involved. And so some guys I really haven't known but for a short period of time, but I know they've had a lot of success in the industry. And Jonathan just promoted this last week to officer, and Luke has made millions of dollars in the network marketing industry. And a lot of people are asking their perspective. How do you approach a guy? What do you do? What makes them attracted to this? I think that's a question most people ask me a lot. I guess as me personally, I was always an entrepreneur, and I'll be perfectly honest with you. I was not someone who thought he would ever be in network marketing. I was not interested. I hid from it, did everything in the world. But when I really learned what it did, it was my lack of knowledge, is what I'm going to say. I was kind of stubborn, maybe conventional wise. But I'm going to start with Luke because Luke has made lots of money in this industry, but he's done very well. He doesn't have to do this. He's got a successful business outside of that. So this is really a part-time gig for him. Even though we know that people get serious, they put more time into it. But most people idea part-time is other people's form of full-time. So that's what I've learned. If you want to find out what successful people do, they work a lot more hours than the other people. That's just the best way to look. So Luke, let's start with you. Why don't you kind of two things I want you to talk about. One is what attracted you to the industry because you were young when you first started. And then I want you to talk about how you approach men about things. So let's just kind of give us a little background on yourself and how you got started.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you hear me?
Can hear you great. Loud and clear.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Chris. Yeah, whenever I got introduced to the industry, guys, I was like most people. I was needing a way out of what I was doing. I had a brand new little girl that was born, and my wife and I just got married, and I was like, man, I do not want to leave her all day, every day. And at that time, listen, I didn't have a lot of options, right? Fresh out of college, had never even really used my degree very much at all. Graduated, jumped right into the first job, that I could get. And every day I was leaving my family, and I said, okay, if I keep on this path, I'm going to get the same result. And I looked at people that were, a lot older than me, and I was like, I don't want to live their life. And I actually I got on the products in the company that I was in. I liked the products, but I didn't really understand the business opportunity. I went to an event, I watched the people, I sat in the back row, and it just so happened to be in Nashville at the time, and I was living in Nashville at the time. I'm living again in Nashville, but at that time that was the first time I'd lived in this city. So I go to the event, right? I hear all these people walk across stage, the Chris Doyles, Cindy Landis's of the world, going across stage, and they're just sharing their story. And here's what I realized: if I didn't change what I was doing, I was gonna be exactly where I'm at. Most people die at 75, but really they died at 25. They just lived the same life for another 50 years. I didn't want that to be me. I also didn't want to not see my at one daughter at the time. Now I've got four. And so that's what got me interested in this opportunity as far as the network marketing realm. Now, listen, I didn't have any influence. I didn't have any prior success. I didn't have a network. I didn't have anything. Nobody wanted to listen to what I had to say. I was 23 years old. But here's what I saw: I saw people at the top of that company that had success, and their stories weren't anything outlandish. They didn't go to a special school, they didn't have a special set of skills. They just refused to quit. They refused to let people knock them off course from their goals, for their dreams. So I got started in the industry. And here's what I did. I leveraged what I had, right? And what did I have? A strong work ethic, and then I had great support. So this business, which is what I love about it, is different than every other business I have. Nobody's trying to help me in my other businesses unless they're my partner or they're my employee, right? In this business, I was able to get started and I didn't have to hire their Chris Doyles to do calls for me or to do a presentation for me or to lean on their experience. I was able to plug into a business, to an opportunity, and lean on other people's success. And that's the big thing that people need to do in this industry. And it's what I did in the beginning, and I'm still doing it now, right? I lean on those that have more experience than me because that's what helps you grow this business a lot faster. And so for me, I looked at all the people on stage at that event and I said, what do all of them have in common? I looked at their age, right? What their background was, everything. And the main commonality between all of them, as far as if I could, look at statistically, it was their age, right? They'd had friends long enough that those friends would do what they asked, but they also were working long enough to realize their job was not going to equal, the freedom that they wanted, right? Job stands for just over broke, jump out of bed, journey of bondage. We all know all the reasons that you shouldn't work a job forever. It just doesn't work, right? That model's broken. So I leveraged that and I would put people in front of the information and I would get them on the phone with someone that was, influential, successful, had done this before. And I never made it about me because they weren't going to join me, right? I was 23 years old, had no prior success. And so very quickly it allowed my business to grow. We grew a very large business very quickly. I got out of the industry 6 years ago, and I always said, and I've just done traditional business since then, but I always said if the right opportunity came along, I would get back in it. Now, let me tell you, this time it's completely different. Yes, it is for making money. I'm not doing this for fun. I'm not doing this for something I have to do in my spare time. I don't have spare time. I have 24 hours in my day. I maximize every single hour for my family, right? So if it doesn't make me money, make me happier, or make me better, I don't make time for it, right? I don't entertain wasteful relationships or friendships. I focus on what does my family need? My family looks for me to provide. What does that look like? I need to provide time with them. I need to provide income for them. And it needs to happen with or without me. What if something happens to me, right? My job is still to take care of my family, even if I'm not here. And so everything I do, I want it to be a maximum effort of my time with the most upside potential. And what I saw with Partner Co. products phenomenal. Guys, I can't go a day without this, right? Like, I love it. Sometimes twice a day. I love the MOA, right? All the clinical studies. I love the Noni. I love the drops. The products are phenomenal. As a matter of fact, the first company I was with in the industry, Dr. Joshua Plant was the chief science officer. So, that's kind of icing on the cake for me. But the products are great. So then I look at the next thing. What's the leadership like? Well, the leadership from the top down, and that starts with John and Darren, it's superb. It's second to none. I don't even know of another company that has an owner that had made billions in traditional business and then an owner that literally has done what we've done for his entire life. Since 19 years old, he's been with one company. That's huge. So we have the best of both worlds running the company. So the only missing ingredient, because the timing's there, the product's there, they're debt free, they're growing. The only missing ingredient is me, is you, right? It is us taking action and sharing the opportunity. And so when I'm approaching somebody, I don't go in, I'm not a Noni expert, right? I didn't go to Noni school. I didn't go to MOA school. I don't focus on being the expert. What I focus on is leveraging the tools in front of me, but letting them know here's what I'm doing, right? Here's where I'm going, and we have a system. Every person that's joined me has joined not because we have weight loss or we have health and nutrition. A lot of people that want to build a business, and Chris knows this because he had a very large business. People want a system, right? There's a gentleman that we did a Zoom with this week. He's been in the industry longer than I've been alive. And he's had massive success. And his whole thing about Partner Co. Everybody's got a weight loss product, right? A lot of them do. Everybody says they're the best. Everybody has, momentum. Everybody's got what made him excited, right? Was that this opportunity in this company, we had a system. And you guys know the system, right? And with that, you can plug anybody in and they can have success. And that's the key. You guys have a model like a McDonald's. Now, obviously, McDonald's is bad for you, but they work. If we buy McDonald's, we know it's going to make money because there's a system in place. PartnerCo has a system that allows people to succeed. So when I'm prospecting people, number one, I don't go in for the close. I go in to build relationship, right? A lot of the people that now I'm meeting different people, right? I'm trying to build rapport. The key is they're going to do business with me, yes, because of the opportunity with PartnerCo, but they want to do business with people they like. So I try to be a good friend, right? A good contact, a person that is there for whatever they need, right? I don't pressure them into the opportunity, but I open the door to the opportunity, and people like to be around people that are going somewhere, right? I don't complain. I don't talk about the news. I don't talk about nothing that's not positive because I don't care, right? I don't care what's going on in the world. I care about what's going on with my family, and my family needs me to go make things happen in every opportunity that I'm doing. So the other great thing that I loved about PartnerCo that was different, and this is what I lean on, is everything's already in place. This call, Chris is already doing it long before I came along, right? The opportunity presentation on Tuesdays, people can plug into that. The IPA call Monday through Friday. Guys, this is like, for those of you who've never been in anything else, we didn't have that previously. And if we did, it's because we were doing it, right? Like I was the one doing all kinds of calls, right? I had to do every presentation. And so people are looking at this opportunity and they're realizing PartnerCo really has all the ingredients, the timing, the product, the leadership, the number one compensation plan, right? Make more off the same efforts if you were going to do something else in this industry. But the system and leverage you have with industry experts. Guys, listen, I knew of Chris Doyle before I met Chris Doyle. And what that means is I knew people that made millions of dollars with him in this industry, right? So I knew of him. And we get a lean on his expertise and his leverage of all the things that he's doing. So whenever I'm prospecting, I make it much more than, hey, we've got great products. Yes, we do. And yeah, we got a great compensation plan. But what allows that person that's busy, right? Because we're all busy, what allows that person to plug in and maximize their effort and create leverage? And that comes down to the system that we have and the great tools that PartnerCo and the leaders inside of PartnerCo's put together. So I hope that answered part of your question, Chris.
Absolutely. Jonathan, I want you to expand on that as well because you had worked with Luke and you're part of Luke's team. And so honestly, there was a lot of things. When I met you at PXP, had no idea you came to the big event. And I think that both of you hit on that. Luke, the first time went to an event. When people talk about how important events are, and I heard some people say they were on their way to a Super Saturday, guys, plugging in is going to be key for you. But Jonathan had just started with the company and decided to make the trip all the way to Dallas. Met him. We had a small group up in the room. Didn't have any clue anything about his background, but he started asking questions, and I was very obvious that he had some experience in the industry. Luke was actually in that room as well. So, Jonathan, why don't you just kind of expand on? I mean, first off, congratulations on your promotion this last week. He made officer. For those in the company know that means his base commission, not his whole commission, was a minimum of $1,000 that week. And I know he doesn't do this full time yet. I'm hoping I use the word yet because I'd like to see him get more involved. But Jonathan, welcome on the call. And why don't you talk to us a little bit about what we just talked? Said what attracted you to PartnerCo and the industry as a guy.
I'll start with PXP since you mentioned it. I knew I had joined, and basically Luke came to me, and we hadn't. We're the kind of friends that I love the guy. We don't talk every day. We hadn't talked for a long time when he called me, and he's like, "Hey, you want to get coffee?" And I was like, "Well, I know where this is going." And so, and of course, I was like, "Sure, I'll get coffee. Let's hear what's going on." And I am the same way as him. I really didn't think I would do this again unless it was something that just really pulled me in. Um, Also, the fact that Luke had already vetted some things and he was going to do it, I was like, well, I'm not going to be the one that, watches him go crush this thing, and I'm just going to sit over here. And so I just knew who I was joining first. And that made a big difference to me. And then, just kind of sitting on the sideline a little bit, checking it out when I first started, but I knew if I wanted to know what this company was about, I'm going to go to PXP and find out. And honestly, I was blown away. There were a couple of things at PXP that really, really stood out. Number one, the marketing is ridiculous. I mean, it's just incredible. It's Nike level commercials. It's just so well done. The technology that's in place. I mean, we didn't have any of that previously, being able to pop something off a partner co share app and then go on about your day. I mean, everything was so well done. And then I saw John and Darren, and I was like, well, here's another obvious difference from my previous company. These guys are younger. They're not, they're not old fossils that created something. Our last company, he was an older gentleman. That no problem with that. It's just he didn't have any kind of obviously he didn't have any kind of long term vision because he wasn't going to be around. And so you meet John and Darren and here they got 50 years worth of vision. I'm like, okay, I can settle in because what I don't want to do is do this again. I don't want to do this again. I want to do it this time. And so that part of it really got me intrigued. I will just say, um, for me, when I'm talking about recruiting guys or what gets a guy involved, first of all, I'm a physical therapist. Okay, so and I own a physical therapy business, and so I'm busy, and that's either your excuse or your reason why. I mean, I either want to be that busy for the rest of my life or I don't. And so I generally don't want to be that busy for the rest of my life. I don't want to have so much of my time freedom messed with. I want to be able to control it because any of you on here that have owned a traditional business, you're busy, and so I want something that creates leverage. My current business, I can create some leverage, but I'm a professional. I'm a physical therapist. I have to be involved some, and so this is something that I can build and not have to be involved and get my time freedom back. So I was super busy, but because I'm a physical therapist, people think, oh, you must be a product guru. Well, I like the products. I'm a fan of the products. The products are what got me here as far as um I'm not going to attach myself to something that's not a good product. And so the products are a no-brainer. And so when people talk to me or when I talk to people, they think, "Oh, I'm going to be a product salesman." I'm not. The products are a no-brainer. I'm a physical therapist. You think I'm going to join a company that doesn't have good products? And so if we kind of get that out of the way quickly, it's just like, hey, tell me about the products. I mean, are they really that good? I'm like, are you serious? I'm a physical therapist. Of course they're good. I wouldn't be here otherwise. Now that we got that out of the way, can we talk about how to make some money? Can we talk about how to build a serious business that creates time leverage and freedom for your family? Can we talk about being able to go and do what you want to do when you want to do it? That's the kind of things that I talk about when I approach gentlemen, especially. But again, I mean, it's reading the room. I mean, if I'm talking to a big fitness guy, of course I'm going to talk a little bit about product. But at the end of the day, that fitness guy, if he's fit, if he looks like Luke, here's what I know automatically. That dude works hard. That dude's driven. He has focus. You don't get that unless you're focused and driven and all those kind of things. And so, do you think I'm going to talk to him about drinking noni every day? That guy's been drinking good products his whole life and probably some bad products too. But he's been trying to improve his health his whole life. Do you think I need to convince him that I have something way better than what he has? Now, I believe that we do. I think we do have those good products. But I'm going to talk to this driven guy and be like, hey, man, I know you're driven. I know you work hard. Do you want to leverage your efforts? Because you can't leverage your efforts in the gym. You can't leverage your efforts in whatever your job is. Do you want to learn how to leverage efforts and time and truly build something special? Most of the time, you're talking their language. And so when I'm talking to a guy, it's exactly what Luke said. How's it going with your family? Are you doing all the things you want to do? Are you taking the trips you want to take? Are you buying the cars you want to buy? Not that I'm super interested in cars or any of that kind of stuff, but I'll tell you this, when I was broke as a physical therapist, and I was working 60, 70 hours a week on a salary. This is when I joined my first company because I was like, this sucks. I mean, I can't keep doing this. And so I had never heard of network marketing, never heard of multi-level marketing other than some negatives about it. And so I never understood. And I tell people all the time, I was in a place where I needed to be unlocked from the matrix. And I was, man, I was pulled out of that matrix, this system that says you got to work until you die. And I've never looked back. Now, I took a break from this industry for a little while, but I've never looked back on what can create leverage, what can allow my lifestyle to be the way I want it to be. I was taught growing up that you go to school, you get good grades, you get degrees, you get careers, you stay loyal in those careers forever. And I knew nothing else. And so I just thought, okay, I did what I was told to do: grades, degrees, good, good job, terrible job, good job. And then I was going to be loyal. And I was realizing, okay, I'd made those decisions early on. I've kind of carved my path in life. This is what it's going to look like for me. I absolutely did not realize how much you could change. And so now I do things that make my life what I want it to be instead of just following this kind of path that's like, oh, I'm stuck. I'm never stuck. I never have to be stuck in anything. And so when I talk to men, I'm talking about what are they stuck in? Now, if I'm talking to a serious business builder or somebody that's an entrepreneur like Chris Doyle, right? What am I talking about? Man, I'm talking about more of the things that they want. It's like, hey, how much leverage do you have? I mean, you've got a huge business. I'm very, encouraged about what you've been able to do. You're obviously a leader. You've got this huge business. Are you able to be at home a lot? No. Do you take vacations a lot? No. What are you doing with all your free time? What free time? Right. So that's how I'm speaking to these guys all across the board, whether they make a lot of money or whether they don't. Time is the issue. That's where I talk.
I think most of us forget that part. Business owners, as me personally, I mean, I can know before I joined this industry, people always thought I had the perfect life because I had so many employees, over 400 of them, and I made a ton of money, but I had zero time. I was on call 24/7. The plant ran 24 hours a day. We closed Christmas Day, and I tried not to close Christmas Day. I used to try to pay extra. But I'd learned the leverage, but I had not learned the residual side, and I had not learned the duplication. So it was my lack of knowledge. And that was when you talked about not understanding the industry and heard bad things. That's what I had been. I had heard bad things. And that was there's bad things out there in all kind of businesses. I mean, that's just the best way to describe it. Luke, I saw you making notes, so I can already tell that you've got some things you want to add to what Jonathan said. So I'm going to turn it back to you. I want you to talk about that. I mean, what did you feel like what is it that makes a person interested as a male?
Yeah. So I'll just say what I did wrong. When I got into the industry was I tried to just find people that are just like me. Okay. Um, that is not a good thing. What I realized. It also means I'm only going to find very few people, and everybody else, I'm blowing them out of the water. And here's why. Because my commitment or my goals and my dreams are different than other people's. But you know what you need in this business? All types of people. You know what you don't want a whole bunch of? Me, right? You know why? Because we'll have a crazy idea and we might run right off of the cliff, right? Or we might listen, I got into another business after I left the industry in sales, and because they didn't have the infrastructure, we put the business out of business, right? Sometimes a whole group of people like me, right? We're driven. If you want to talk about personality types, right? I'm the red personality type. So here's what I learned. I listen more when I'm talking to a prospect than I talk about my opportunity. The other thing that I've found is that depending on someone's success, right? If they need the opportunity financially, if they need to make money, if anybody says to me, and here's some keys. If they say, well, Luke, you know what? Uh, those skinny drops, they're kind of expensive. I immediately know they need to make more money, period. It doesn't matter what they say. If you look at a product and say it's too expensive, you need to make more money. That's it. So that's one of the things that I'm listening for. Are they talking, if they say the price of the biggest package, Luke, $2,500, that's a lot of money. I know they need the business. Doesn't matter what they say, they need the business. They haven't, and depending on their age, right? Like if they're 25 and they're like, that's expensive. Okay, sure. You probably just got out of college. Yeah, everything's expensive. If they're 40 and 50 and they say that's expensive, well, so far in their life, they've not found an opportunity that's given them the ability to say that's not expensive. They need this business more than ever because if they've been out in the career world or working and $2,500 is expensive, there's a big problem, right? So I'm listening to what are they saying. The other thing is like this gentleman that I went and met with. He's been in the industry, right? So the thing to him wasn't another opportunity. Also, he's making money right now. But the key to him was that you've got this network and you're not maximizing your network. So for a Chris Doyle, let's just say that I had met Chris back in the day. He had his traditional business. And of course, financially, I can't really appeal to him so much in that aspect. But if I could say, Chris, why don't we leverage your network? Right now, your network is completely leveraged into one thing, which would have been his traditional business or any business owner, right? If you're just doing one thing, what if that one thing stops? Why not take your network, which is normally huge, right? Depending on how big of a business owner they are, they normally have a sizable network. Let's create leverage because not everybody's going to start a business like you did. Why don't you create leverage through this business where you have a lot of people that can help you and make another income stream? And since you don't need the money right now, that's great. You can build it over time, right? But when I'm talking to somebody, whatever their goal is, I let them be who they are. And that's what I made the mistake years ago. I would push everybody to say, no, you got to have big goals. You got to have big dreams, right? You want to make 6 figures to 7 figures a month. Some people, that's not their goal. So I was pushing a lot of people away that really what I should have done and what I do now, I let everybody, I say, get in where you fit in, right? Whatever you want to do. I don't care. If somebody says, Luke, I'm just coming in with the $330 pack, great. Let's do it. Let's get you started. Here's why. Because when they get in, now I can help them understand why they need to go ultimate in 4 weeks. But even more importantly, the minute someone has purchased the product, they've exchanged their money for the product. Now I can help them network through their people and grow the business. And maybe it's someone that they know that comes in and they're like Jonathan and they're like, dude, I'm ready to crush this thing. Well, what if I waited forever for the perfect timing to push them to get in with a, 1500 PV pack and that time never came? Then I would have never got to lead myself to the next Jonathan, right? Or the next Cindy. So the point is, used to, I just wanted everybody to come in with the biggest pack. And if you're not, don't talk to me, right? That was my young, naive 20-year-old self. Now, get in what fits you best. What level do you want to build this business? Because let me tell you something. Partner Co is at 400 million, not because everybody wants to make 6 figures a month or 7 figures a month. Partner goes at 400 million because they found a way to help everybody achieve whatever level financially of success they want, right? That's what I think is so important when you're talking to somebody. Let them tell you what they want and then just help them do that, right? If someone says, Luke, right now I just want to start with a product, great. Let's get you on the product. Because our goal, our purpose as a brand partner is to sell product. That doesn't matter if it's retail, doesn't matter if they're a wholesale member, customer, doesn't matter if they're a brand partner only coming in with 200 PV, and doesn't matter if they come in with 1500 PV. The point is get them in and then let them decide how big they want to build it. But let me tell you something. The people that will typically bring the most people to your business will be the people that you least expect it. It'll be the people that say, you know what? I just want to make enough money that I can get my product paid for. And so I can help my daughter or I can help so and so with something. They'll end up bringing you so many people that then you can work with, right? Network through their network. And I'll tell you, Todd has done great at that, right? Todd Rowland, met him multiple times. We've talked a lot of times. He'll do that, right? He'll take somebody and then he'll network through their network. Chris does that, right? That's the key in this business. Let people on your team keep bringing people in, and then you go help them find the ones that are driven, ambitious, goal oriented, and are ready to build this thing fast. And the other thing I used to do that was wrong was if somebody wasn't ready to go now, they might have got started. I would pester them. Remember, we are all self-employed, 1099 in Partner Co. No one works for us, right? And we don't work for anybody, right? So I try to treat everybody like that. I used to not, and it would make people be like, well, Luke, I don't work for you. Why are you trying to tell me I need to do XYZ? I say, let's go do it, right? I encourage them to do it. I'm going to do it. But if they don't, I'm going to love them where they're at because they may lead me to the next runner that I can run right alongside with. But if I blow them out by telling them what they should and shouldn't do, they're going to be like, dude, forget this. I don't want to prospect anybody. So those are things that I learned from the first go around. And like Jonathan said, we both set out for about 6 years and always looking for that right opportunity. And this is it. This is the last company I'll ever be in, ever. And I know that because, like Jonathan said, the leaders aren't going to sell the company in 3 years, like our last deal where they were, it was going to be a legacy company. Then they sold it. John and Darren really are building this for their kids as a legacy. And I'm excited about that because I can hook my wagon to that.
I think that's really important to understand that the ownership. But I want to re-hit something you said. Did y'all get that? I hope you did. Hope you wrote that down. Get in where you fit in. I love that statement because a lot of times people, and I had that same problem. So Luke, I constantly wanted people to have the same goals I had. I really struggled with that. I couldn't understand why they weren't. So, guys, everybody has a different goal here. There's going to be some stay-at-home moms that, guys, if you listen, this business is built around somebody wanting to supplement their income. We're talking about big income earners here. Because that's not where this business is. Brent Palmer and I talk about that a lot. We fail to remember that 400 or 500 ladies that just want to make $1,000 a month will get them what they want, but those number of ladies will also get you what you want because they'll create some volume. So it's a win-win. And don't expect everybody to want your goals. That is a hard thing to get used to. It was for me. And I probably took 3 years. I mean, they had to about pound me over the head saying, quit trying to get people to do what you want to do because it needs to be where you meet them. I love that. That is probably one of the best lines I've ever heard. Get in where you fit in. Jonathan, why don't you expand on that a little bit? Because you guys have worked together a long time. And I want you to talk about a little bit about what you see with the company as well. Because I think sometimes people talk about comp plans, but guys, this company has a Bill of Rights. And I know that was a big deal to both of you guys because listen, this industry gets a bad reputation because of you get in, and I won't name the company, but I know of a company who knew when they started their comp plan, they were going to change it 8 months into it. They said up front, we just want to get these leaders over because we're going to pay more. Then when we get them in place, we'll tell them we're changing it. Then they can't quit because they've already brought their network. Our company has a Bill of Rights. I want y'all to expand on why you really partnered up after 6 years of looking or maybe thinking there might be another company out there. What really stood out with Partner Co? Because this recording is going to go to people that are talking to business people.
For me, I mean, we've both been in situations where compensation plans get changed right out from under you. And that is just not it is the most deflating thing. Now, Luke was a higher earner than I was, but I was earning pretty good. I mean, I was making a high six-figure income, and it just took it. I love people. I mean, I want people to do well. If I'm going to enroll you, man, I want you to win. Like it's far less about me at that point. If you trust me and you enroll and you put in your whatever, $2,500 or you put in your $300, it doesn't matter. It's all the same to me. I want you to win. I want you to get it back and I want you to meet whatever your goals are quickly. Well, when you're in a company that changes your compensation plan and pulls money right out from under you, and you know that I'm about to go recruit somebody and I'm not giving them the same opportunity that I had, and I know that they're going to have a harder time winning than I had, that it's deflating. It's over for me. I'm done. It was just like, I will not do this again because I didn't want to recruit anybody and put them in a situation. Now, the reality is there's people that'll rise above any of those things and they'll still go out and make a huge income. I just didn't want to be lying to them. I didn't want to tell them how great it was when I was watching my money change. And so when I know that we have a company that is very focused on me, they're very focused on what we can do to help improve our lifestyles, get basically whatever we want out of this company. I have a company that not only says it, they put it in a Bill of Rights and says, this is how we're going to treat you as a brand partner. That is huge, huge to me. Very big, important for me. And when we were in the room at PXP, Chris, you talked about there's no tripwires here. There's nothing here that keeps you from making money. I just enrolled I helped one of my team members enroll somebody just the other day. Okay. Now, this is a single mom that is enrolling, and she does not have the funds to be able to do any of this kind of stuff. Okay. She doesn't have the funds to come in literally at $2,500, but she also knows I really wish I could do that. So we come up, I talked to Cindy to make sure this is okay because I had heard it was okay, but I wanted to make sure it was okay. So my person that was enrolling has sold 30 boxes of drops in 10 days. 10 days. She sold 30 boxes of drops, and she's about to enroll her first brand partner who can't pay any money, but this lady needs to replenish her 30 boxes. And so we enroll the new lady, the single mom. We go in and we place an order with the sponsor, and she drops it under her new person as her buy-in. She is now the new single mom is ultimate level. My distributor, my brand partner, gets 30 boxes that she can share with her new person as she sells them. It's just like it's so perfect. And my brand partner earned $450 from her own sale. She bought 30 boxes and got a $450 discount. I'm like, you mean the company allows this? They're okay with it. I mean, we did it in the other company. We just had to be sneaky about it. You know what I'm saying? And so this company is like, hey, yes, make the money. Get a $450 discount on your 30 box of drops. It's like there's no tripwires in this thing at all to keep you from making money, leveraging product. It's a beautiful thing. The other thing I'll say about this company, and I'll just be really honest, and I don't want to discourage anybody that's on the call. I am not a retail guy. Like, I didn't come into this to do retail. It just never entered my mind, because in our previous companies we definitely didn't have a system for retail, but we didn't have a real opportunity for retail. I mean, we're selling products that were difficult sell in some cases, and so you're not going to get very attractive retail sales. So I'm super excited about the company here that has the system of growth where people that want to, just like Luke was saying, if I have somebody that comes in and they want to do retail, I have a couple of people, they want to do retail. And I'm so thankful. I'm like, that's awesome, because we didn't have a home for you in our previous company. We have a home for you in this company. You can do retail all you want. Not only can you do it, we have an incredible system with the boards app and everything that absolutely shows you how to do it. Am I going to totally 100% build it that way? No. Am I going to use pieces of that? Sure. But I'm going to absolutely give those people a home. And then I'm going to work on franchise models, and I'm going to work on business building. I'm going to do these different things. So there's a home for everybody in this company so that you can talk business all you want. You can talk retail all you want. You can do whatever you want to do, and there's systems set up for all of it. To me, I'm like in hog heaven. It's like, this is crazy, because the other thing I'll say about it is when we went to PXP, Luke and I were both there kind of like, dude, I can't believe what I'm looking at. So everybody that goes on that stage at PXP, they're coming up and talking about retail sales. Everybody. And what was it? 85% women in this company, 85% to 90% are women on the stage at PXP. Great. To me, that is phenomenal, because you have stay-at-home moms, you have single mothers, you have part-time workers, or you have women that have full-time jobs, plus they're doing this on the side, and they're on stages, and they haven't even talked to people about business a whole lot. They have talked all product. Well, number one, that keeps the SEC off our back. Number two, that is just like, we're not even talking business yet. We're not even talking about really big time business building. And so Luke and I were both sitting there thinking, dude, this is a phenomenal place. We are at the very beginning of something extremely huge. I mean, we both saw the writing on the wall. This is going to just go to here, and we're going to be a part of it. So we were really excited.
So I want to make sure we picked up the point there. Yes, we talked to these guys strictly about why they would come in as the business, but both of them came in. Jonathan immediately used a system of growth. Has a lady who sold 30 boxes and what you say, 12 days, and she
Yeah,
made
less than
$11.
10 days.
So here's what I want you to realize, guys. They used the system, met them where they were, and that's exactly what you got to understand. Meet them where they are. And that's where most people make their mistake. It's not just a cookie cutter. Meet them where they are. Luke, you talked about Tuesday nights. Tuesday nights we're doing a call, and I've been on a couple of weeks with the Rose Cindy, and my daughter is talks about product. But Luke, you talk about the different pillars of what the company's founded on how we have all these different things. Why don't you hit on that just a little bit? Because sometimes we forget. And by the way, the first company I was with, we never sold that much product. We used the product, but we weren't real. We have so many customers, as you said, we don't ever have to worry about an issue because we have so many customers out there. Luke, why don't you talk about you? I love what you talked about on Tuesday night when you talked about the different systems that we have that really address all the things out there with the technology.
Yeah, so obviously, guys, it's an information age, right? We're on a Zoom right now. We're not in Chris's living room. You're not in my living room, right? We're on a Zoom. Now, that's amazing. The reason we love it is because we can connect with more people, right? We can grow this business faster, and none of us had to drive anywhere. I mean, obviously, there's a Super Saturday today that you're going to, and listen, nothing can replace that. So I'm going to be clear. I love Zoom. I love us being able to connect. This is crucial, but you have to be able to get your butt in a seat at a live event, okay? Because energy is transferred at those events. Jonathan and I were at PXP, the energy transfer at that event. Right now, for us, we're building to the February event in Destin. Okay. That's the next big event. Everybody should be pushing to that. Here's why. If you go, you learn. If your team goes, you earn. Never go alone. I don't care if you got to put them in the car with you and drive. When we went to PXP to make it easier, we did an Airbnb. Okay. I was like, guys, we're all going to stay in one place. Let's get there. Let's make it happen. Because I knew, right? Visions are caught, not taught, right? I can't go to the PXP and come back and teach them my vision. They have to be there, they have to experience it. That was the first major event, right? Now, the next big event, which there was a handful of ones right after that. I was at the one in Vegas, I was at the one in Nashville. But the key is you have to get your people to the events. What I love though, what PartnerCo's done is they've taken what we've done for all these years, which most of us, if we were ever in, we did home meetings, right? And they made it accessible where people can do Zoom presentations. The entire system that you guys built is through social media. That's the largest advertiser in the world. If you're new to this industry and you're trying to get, going, leverage social media, right? My dad, who's obviously older than me because he's my dad, right? He's not a social media guy. He's on there, but he doesn't do a ton on it. Got into this, followed the system, started making reels, started posting his before and after pictures, right? Started doing the things that those of you who've been in a while have done. I remember one night, one video, he had almost 200 people message him about the skinny drops. My dad couldn't go meet 200 people in a month face to face to talk about skinny drops. So that's huge, right? But the fact that the company is like I said, founded with two guys that know exactly what they're doing, unprecedented growth. The cool part is, and I think this is one of the first times in history it's ever happened in this industry, they bought three existing companies, right? And some of you are like, oh, well, that means the products have been around and other people know about them. No. Because here's the deal. When you say partner code, nobody's heard of it, right? That's all that matters. Because when you're talking to people, we're not saying, hey, come join Tahisha Noni. We're saying join partner code. And then they get the Tahisha Noni product and they get the Limu products, right? And they get RX products. But what's great about that is this. You have products that have stood the test of time. People have been on those products for years, right? Which means the products work. It's irrefutable, right? There's science, there's third party science, there's double blind studies. The products work. Foundation is the products work. Comp plan rated number one. Well, guess what? It was rated number one before it was PartnerCo's compensation plan. In the previous company, RX had the number one compensation plan for 7 or 8 years, something like that. Well, now it's the number one compensation plan in the industry. We're number one and two, depending on the month, in momentum in the entire industry, right? All of those things are super important. The Bill of Rights is why I'm here. I built a large income and the company cut it off, right? I said I'll never do it again. It's why I own traditional businesses. I control my check. My family relies on me to make the income. Therefore, they rely on me to make smart decisions to where other people can't control my income. The whole reason why most of us want to get out of whatever we're in, right? I'm psychologically unemployable. You couldn't hire me. It doesn't matter. You couldn't hire me. It's impossible for me to show up and do something someone else tells me to do, right? I can't do it. Mentally, I'm broken that way. I can't go back to the old thing. Well, in this, when they cut my check off, I was like, well, I'm done. I'll never do anything where somebody can control my income. That Bill of Rights was huge for me, especially if you're talking to people that's been in network marketing before, because people want to know that once they build this, even if they like some other product and they sell it to somebody, they're not going to get that they're not going to have this fear that their income that they've worked so hard to build is going to get cut off. And so when you put all those things together, we have lightning in a bottle. We have a once in a lifetime opportunity. Jonathan and I made tons of money in the previous company. Guess what? They never did 400 million in revenue. Never, ever, which means you guys have the best foundation. All of us have the best foundation to build on. You know why? Because 8 out of 10 people in Partner Co are customers. That's huge. That means the entire 400 million, 80% of it is just people using the products. They'd been taking Noni for 20 years. They want to take it for another 20 or 100 years, however long they're going to be here. We have products that stand the test of time that people want to be on. They want to, I'm not going to go without this. I'm not going to go without Noni. I'm not going to go without Moa. I'm not going to go without them. Well, that builds a great business. But here's the thing, we all have this opportunity of timing to go expand and grow our business, and they already have the systems in place for us. The only thing that's missing is us taking massive action. And the other thing is, we're already in 58 countries. You know how few companies that are 4 years old, or I'm sorry, almost 3 years old, are doing 400 million and are in 58 countries? And I think they're opening another country that's got over 1 billion people first quarter next year. That is huge. We're one of the few companies in the world that have a license to do business in mainland China. Huge. But does your neighbor know about it? That's what's also cool. Because when I was talking to this guy the other day, right, he's got his ear to the ground in the network marketing realm. And he said, I've never heard of Partner Co. He started calling other people and asking them, have you heard of Partner Co? They haven't heard of it. He's like, I can't believe you're doing $400 million and nobody's heard of you, which tells you we have the greatest opportunity to go grow and scale a business because the foundation is set and it's not been built on everybody just buying ultimate packs, right? 8 out of 10 are customers. They didn't buy an ultimate pack. They're buying 100 PV. They're buying 150 PV, right? That's your baseline of this business. And that's what makes it exciting. And so the only thing we have to do is go talk to people. But the key is creating that structure, right? We're all busy, but we all have 24 hours a day. I was with a guy last night smoking a cigar at a cigar lounge, and he said, man, I just wish I could work out like you. I was like, are you physically incapable of working out, right? Do you have a physical problem? He's like, no. I was like, so did you break something? What's wrong? Why can't you work out like me? Oh man, I don't have the time. I was like, well, that's wild. Do you not have 24 hours in your day? And then he realized where I was going. He quickly backpedaled and was like, no, I'm just making excuses. I was like, there you go. Glad we got to that quick. In this business, we can either make money or we can make excuses, right? We can all say, oh, it's holiday season. I'm busy. No one's busy. You're just choosing to be, right? I choose to be productive. If I'm doing something with my time, it has to be the maximum effort of my time. I don't miss the gym a day. I'm going right after this, and I have a Zoom as soon as I get home from the gym. I'm going to go Christmas Eve. I'm going to go Christmas Day. People say, well, why don't you just take a day off? Well, I don't want to, right? I don't want to take it out. Same with this business. Guess what I'm going to do in every business that I have? I'm going to do business Christmas Eve. I'm going to do business Christmas Day, right? Because those are the reasons that all of my children right now are asleep, right? And they get to be with me 24/7. They get to be with their mother. My wife has never had to work one day since we've been married. That is a gift I want to give her for her entire life. She does not have to do anything to make money ever, right? I saw a meme the other day. It was like funny, and it said, I thought I had a great life until I looked at my wife and kids and realized they get the same life, but they don't have to do what I do to get it, right? That's what I want to give my wife and my children, right? I want to give them their dreams. So I have to maximize my time. They're looking at me to do that. This opportunity has everything in front of it for you and me to grow. Opportunity, perfect. Timing, perfect. Products, perfect. Compensation plan, perfect. Leadership from the top down, perfect. And then they've got the system and the leverage for us to just plug guests into this, let them grow, then let them launch, follow the system, and have success. And so it's just a numbers game, right? How quickly can I find the people that need healthy products and that need an opportunity to make money? And the greatest thing is right now, everybody's thinking about January 1 weight loss, and everybody's overspending on Christmas, and they need an opportunity to make money to pay off their credit card debt January 1 as well. It's the greatest time to talk about health and wealth because everybody needs it starting January. I mean, they need it now, right? But they're really going to need it January 1 after too many cookies through the holiday season. So we have that opportunity. And listen, people are going to feel that from you, right? You guys are feeling my energy right now. Now, if we were in person, you'd really feel my energy. That's why the in-person events are crucial. But people feel this. They want to follow somebody. Everybody's looking for somebody to follow. I'm just telling you. So when they meet you, be that person. Ask yourself, would you follow you? When you're talking about this opportunity, does it fire you up? Do you get excited? Do you start like ready to go fight a war to help this person? That's what they're feeling, or they're not, right? Maybe you're just like, yeah, Partner Co's cool. I'll send you my link. Here you go. Get some products or not. No, I'm passionate about everything I do because I know every person I talk to, if they don't join this and they're looking for an opportunity, they're going to join somebody. So why not help them join the best opportunity, right? Because truly, this is the best opportunity. And so you got to lead with passion, right? And listen, some of you, it's going to be your testimonial. What gets you passionate about this business, right? Lead with that. Let that be the thing that opens up the conversation and then let them decide. I don't pressure anybody. I don't want everybody. I just want those that want to do it. And then we're going to go build this and we're going to take it to a lot of people. But people join people. The opportunity is the byproduct of joining people, right? And so let people know where you're going and then show them. If they don't join, that's okay. Add them to another list, right? You got your prospect list and then you have your make them pay list, right? Make them pay list is the people that watch you succeed and they miss out on it. At 23 years old, everybody told me I'd never make any money at this. Guess what? When I made stupid amounts of money, everybody was like, man, you just got lucky. So I just keep doing it over and over and over, right? Because sometimes the only bite of success people get is the bite they take out of you, right? That's the only taste they're ever going to get of success is discouraging you from achieving your goals and dreams. People don't tell me that this is a pyramid. They're afraid to, not because I'm threatening. I mean, physically they might feel that, but I don't let them talk about my opportunity, right? So people don't say that because people feel my energy. They feel how passionate I am about this opportunity. Doesn't mean I want them to do it if they don't want to do it. It just means I'm excited about what I'm doing. And I would love to have them with me. And I think that's huge, right? Facts tell, stories sell. So share your story, share why you're doing it, and be genuine. When I came to Jonathan, I said, Jonathan, I'm doing this. This is it. Last time I'm doing it. I'm telling you, you're my friend. I want you to do this with me. If you don't want to do it, we're still going to be friends. But I'm going to do this because I've been looking and this opportunity, it all lines up. And that was it. And then I was like, and here's some videos, right? I was like, Cindy, what videos do I send them? Right? That's brand new.
Well, something I want to add to this, because everybody's looking, I see all the chat room talking about your enthusiasm and excitement. Yes, y'all are a part of Cindy Landis' team, which I personally sponsor Cindy's, which makes these guys a part of my team. Something you need to realize, I never met Luke till whatever, 8 months ago, we got on a three-way call. And I'd never met Jonathan until he came to PXP. Here's what I want you to understand. Cindy did not personally sponsor these guys. Cindy personally sponsored someone else who knew Luke. So guys, understand, Cindy, do you mind jumping in? I don't know if I know you're with us. I mean, I want people to realize that he's working through the others. The guy that actually sponsored these guys is not on the call right now. He's a fireball too, and he's going to build a business, but he led you to people and you just followed that trail. Do you want to talk about that just a little? Because I know you called me excited about Luke a long time ago before you ever landed, Luke, to decide to do this business.
Well, I think it's really just the fact that you have to put yourself in the situation to recognize when you have a Luke and a Jonathan somewhere in your grasp, right? And I think Luke would agree with that. It's really that I picked up the phone and called a personal friend of mine, and he's like, "Well, I'm really busy." He is a big businessman. Luke does business with this guy, right? And I knew that he was. So for me, Chris, but I called him because I knew he loves anything that's business. I knew he had done some in this industry, 2 decades ago or more, just a little bit. He dabbled in it. But I knew if I called him up and I said, "Hey, let's find a way to work together again," because we'd worked together in the past. Here's what I have. We met, and he's like, "I know a few people. I'm really busy right now, but I'm interested." He loved the products. He's an older gentleman. He loved the products, but he's like, I've got this guy I think he knows a guy who's in it. So Luke hadn't told him he was ever in network marketing. Luke had never told him that he had made $1 million. Luke had mentioned that he knew another guy that was in it. And that was before I had talked to RT. And so he said, "Let me get you on the phone with this guy." As I'm talking to Luke, I'm listening, as Luke said, I was listening to what he was saying. And I'm like, I literally muted the phone. I was in Punta Cana, by the way, with Partner Co. I muted the phone and I said, "This guy knows network marketing." And I'm like, "Okay, Luke, you know something about network marketing, don't you?" And he just laughed. And then I'm like, "Okay, you've done this before." And I just kept digging, but I was just listening to what he was saying and understanding it. So I think it's listening to I was working through RT, which led me to Luke. And then, of course, Luke has done this before. But that's what I think you have to be paying attention to, is that it's not forcing RT. For those of you who've met him or know him, he's a great guy. Luke knows he'll go build a big business. He went officer, I think, his first week, but he's very, very busy. He owns a business. He's very tied up. And he told me, until the end of the year, I'm going to be very, very busy, but I'll introduce you to a few people, because that's what I asked him to do. Well, then introduce me to some people and I will help plug him in underneath of you. And that's what he did with Luke. So it's paying attention, asking them to lead you to people so you can help them. You help them help themselves, right? Have them help you help them, something like that.
I hope everybody heard two things here that were really mentioned. Listen. Quit talking and listen. Most people think big salespeople or good salespeople are talkers. In actuality, that they know how to communicate, but they're good salespeople are communicators, and they communicate because they listen. And all three of them have said, meet them where they are, what they're looking for, what do they want from this. And that's what that most people miss on, is not realizing that some people are not going to ever go do this massive. But that's okay with me. And there's going to be people but the massive people may not be and me personally, I will tell you, I have done this industry now for 23 years full time. Cindy, by the way, is a personal sponsorship of mine, but she was not in the other company. I think she was about 60 levels down from me in the other company. And I just saw her growth, and I looked for her. I said, I got to find who this girl is. Why? Because she was growing. And here she is. We're still together, whatever this has been 13 years ago. So Cindy and I have been together longer than her and her husband. So, so guys, thank y'all for being on. We try to keep this for 1 hour. We will have this recording out. And I know a lot of people will want that. I'm going to stop the recording.